Oh, 1/8, 1/8, and I got him. He's a nice fish too. Yep, that is so nice. And he came straight up and thrashed on the surface. That was lovely. Oh, he's a good fish too. He's going to eat it in there. This is going to be very interesting. He did. Over the tree. I'm a bit addicted to these shallow water ones. G'day, Starlo here. I'm on a Bream river that I haven't fished in well over a year, so I've got no idea whereabouts in the river system the Bream are at the moment, nor what they're doing. I'm going to share with you some of my ways of looking for Bream in a system like that, and also some of the methods that I use for catching them when I do find a few. This is the Scamander River in northeastern Tasmania, so it's a good Bream river. I know there's plenty of Bream in here, but Bream do move around quite a bit within the system. You can zig when they zag and it's easy to miss out. So I'll see if I can find a few. It's blowing a howling nor'wester today. I'm a bit sheltered from it here. And that's going to be a big part of my consideration, trying to stay out of the wind a bit just to make things more pleasant for myself. So let's see if I can combine staying out of the gale, finding the Bream and catching a couple. This should be fun. I'm looking for a likely stretch of bank that's a little bit protected from the gale. And it doesn't take me too long to find one. Alright, so I've kicked off by heading upstream a little bit to try and get away from that wind. And I've tied on a reasonably deep diving hard body lure. It's one of the Shimano Pablo shads, quite a useful Bream lure. And I can use that to prospect fairly quickly, crank it down, get it in the spots. And if I don't start getting some hits or some follows or whatever in 10 or 15 minutes at the most, I'll move either downstream or upstream. And I've got to tell you, with this wind blowing, my inclination is to go upstream and get out of it a bit, but we'll see what happens. As always with Bream fishing, it's about getting it in close to cover, getting it in their faces, and with these southern black Bream, lots of pauses in the retrieve. The Pablo shad almost suspends. It just rises very slowly in the water column. Okay, I just saw a couple of fish here. They looked like Bream, although they were well out from cover. That's interesting. They do some strange things in these southern rivers at times. Make sure I've got plenty of drag on, as much as my 6-pound leader. Oh, hello. I think I found the Bream. I hope you can see these. They're sitting in here under this snag. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 Bream in there. Some of them are quite small, some are not a bad size. Oh, let's see what happens. I drop the Pablo shad near them. I'm very, very close to them. They might see me. There's a better one sitting out in the end of the snag. Well, they didn't come over to the splat. Oh, yes, they did. Yes, they did. There's a couple sitting right under it. Oh, I've gone and got snagged now. I really hope you can see them. I'm going to sneak in there and get this lure. I will undoubtedly spook these fish, but I'd like to show them to you up a little bit closer. That is just awesome. That's one way of finding fish. You don't always have to use a sounder. You can. Oh, there's a lot of Bream in there. They're aware of me now. They've started moving out. There's a whole heap more back in there. Oh my gosh. 20, 30 Bream. Some of them quite nice. All right, so I'm going to have to assume that they're going to be on other snags up here too. I've ruined this one. All right, let's assume it's going to be exactly the same on this snag up here. And this time I won't go right in. I'll stand out a little bit and cast. Well, I'm in fairly close to this snag now and I can't see any Bream on it. They might have all been on that other one. Oh yeah, no, they're right back in deep cover. I can see some back in there. Just got to get the lure on them without spooking them. They might already be aware that I'm here. Oh, yeah, one had to go. There's one looking at it. When they're holding right back deep in the snags like that, can be a bit of a sign that they're shut down. I've got one following it here, he's not very big. Got two actually, one very small one and one a bit bigger. Huh, it's interesting. Oh well, I think I've found the bream. Just got to find some active ones now. Part of the problem is that the scamander's mouth is closed to the sea at the moment, so there's no tidal movement to rev the fish up. Alright, well I've had a slight change of tactics. It seemed like the Pavlo shad was a bit big and bold for those fish. So I've actually gone for one of the resin head jigs that my son Tom makes, but which I've actually dressed with a prawn shrimp pattern fly tie. So it's actually fur and feathers wrapped onto the little jig head. Let's see what they think about that. That wind sure isn't helping, but I'm still pretty confident. Got him. About time. Oh, he's not a bad fish either. Gentlest of pickups. Oh, he's not a bad fish at all. Oh, look at that. He's a really nice bream. Oh, that's cool. So glad to get that on my fly tie on the resin head. I bet he's not pinned very well either, the way he bit. Lovely fish. It was worth persevering. Come on, let's have a look at you. There we go. Let's get off these snags so we don't spook them. And have a look at our first scamander bream for the day, and he's a very nice example of his or her breed. The little shrimp fly pinned in its mouth. It's a bit of fun tying flies on the resin heads and chucking them on spin gear. It's got applications for lots of different kinds of fishing. I'll pop him in the live well. We'll see what sort of a bag we can put together. I'm not going to keep any of them. They're okay to eat out of here, not like the Derwent ones that are a bit risky. These ones would be fine, but when you're in an area that's got whiting and flathead and all sorts of other good fish, I'd rather treat the bream as a sport fish and put them back. Maybe 38, 39 centimetres to the tips, that one, I reckon. Good fish. All right. I'm about to do something that I very rarely do when I'm bream fishing, and that's go back and fish the same bit of water again a short time after I've fished it. Normally there's enough terrain to just keep going to new country, but there were so many bream in here when I started out, and they were being really lethargic. I've come back to see if we can have another crack at them. They've had about 20 minutes. Maybe they've settled down. Let's find out. This will be an interesting experiment. Let's see what happens as I rework these snags with my little fly jig. So I'm actually watching my belly of line here, looking for a little twitch as they pick it up on the drop. Which is... Oh, that one thumped it a bit harder when I started to move it out. We'll get one here in a second, I'm sure. Oh, one came up and flashed on it. I wonder if there's any along these straight banks. Oh, little twitchy bites on the drop. All right, I can see some up here on the outside of the snag. They're not back in the places where I first spooked them though, which is interesting. I don't think they've had long enough to settle down. Let's try. I can see a group of about 6 fish sitting in the shadow out off the end of this snag. See what they think of the fly jig. Not much. They moved out and disappeared. They're still very, very nervous. Yeah, it just Doesn't pay dividends, I don't think, to go back and fish the same water again. I won't stick with this for very long. I saw a better fish. Oh, there's a couple of better fish in there. Wow, they're right in the snag though. There's a heap of bream in there. Very hard to get it into them. And they're also extremely nervous. There's one nice fish. Oh, one came up at it. If I can get it in that little slot, it's not too bad. Oh, they all spooked off it, off the splash. Even the resin head, which doesn't make much of a splash. I don't think I'm going to do any good here. It was worth trying, but it just reinforces what I've always thought about bream. They take quite a while to get over even a minor upset. I mean, I didn't spook those fish all that badly. All right, it was worth the experiment. Plenty more river to explore though. See if I can find another corner like this, out of the wind and with some nice snags and structure, and see if we can repeat the pattern. That's what fishing's all about, finding successful patterns and repeating them. Oh, I can see bream up high in the water, up here ahead. They're schooling up. Yes. Oh, had a go, and another go. Oh, yeah, they do some weird things at times. That was a school of bream holding about 60 or 70 centimetres under the surface, out here in the open in this bay. And you see things like that, you need to be on the alert for it. I got a couple of hits off them. See if I can sneak up and find out if there's any more there. I do love these snags that are further out from the bank, the midstream snags. They're nearly always great spots for a fish, any kind of fish. From barra up north to bass in the freshwater, Murray cod and bream. Watch closely right under where my lure lands. Oh, I saw a big flash. Yep, got him. Yep. Saw the big flash as he went down for it. He took a little while to get it. I'm pushing back out off the snag. He's not a giant, but he wants to get back in that snag. Seriously, those midstream snags, it's like money in the bank. Never drive past one. No, he's giving me a bit. It's a nice fish, but he's nothing out of the ordinary for the Scamander. Another one on the shrimp pattern on the resin head. Gee, went hard for his size, that one. He's a bit lean. They're loving this thing. The legs have fallen off it, but it's still working. Put this guy on the live well and have another go. I'm getting a few together now, and those patterns are beginning to form, especially the presence of visible cruising fish. Some bream on the flats here. Oh yes, sight fished him. That is about as good as it gets in my book. Surface is probably the only thing better, but sight fishing a bream like that out of 30 or 40 centimetres of water on the flats. Got a couple of his mates with him too. That's pretty good. Oh. It's easy to forget the wind when you're catching good fish. Nice. Okay, well I'm definitely finding a few up on the flats now in quite shallow water, so I'm going to spend a bit of time doing that because I love catching them like this. Again, just an average Scamander bream, but a nice fish all the same. Ooh, that wind is blowing. My poor old fly jig, it's caught a few fish now and it's starting to fall apart. Well, that's pretty funny. This little fly jig is starting to fall apart. The legs fell off and now the epoxy coverings come off, and I realise it's not actually tied on one of Tom's resin heads at all. It's on a little lead head jig, a little half-gram squidgy finesse head, one of the old squidgy finesse heads. So no wonder it's been sinking a little bit quicker than I was expecting from a resin head. It's been in my tackle box for such a long time. I tied it up one day and thought, that looks really good. Stuck it in there and never got around to using it, but it's going well today. I'll get a couple more fish on it and then I'll try something else. See if there are any more on these shallow mud flats over here. There was a bunch of fish there. They all scattered when I hooked that one. I know. I think I can see a couple. Oh, there's one high up in mid-water. I think he might be a wake-up to us though. Maybe not. We had a look at it. There's another one up high in the water. Oh, they don't like it if you land it too close to them. And there's a good one over there. Oh, there's a bunch up here. Okay, he's heading over towards it. That's not helping. Wind got us and blew us right off him. Tricky conditions. There's a couple down here, but I think we're too close. Just got to pick them up out at the right distance to be able to get the lure in front of them before they become aware of you. It's not particularly clear water. I'm struggling to see them, but when they're up in that shallow stuff you can see them. I'm mostly looking for movement. They're just showing as little dark smudges, but when those dark smudges are moving, that's when you know that it's a fish. Coming up onto some gravelly stuff now, but they seem to be more on this soft bottom strata. There's one in there. Now I cast well away from him, probably too far away. Oh, saw one flash down here. Oh, there's a giant. There's some big ones out here. Oh, big dark one. Don't know if you'll have seen him. Oh, I can see a bunch up here on this next bit of shallow stuff. This is a good position. If I can just get a cast up into that wind, I'm right amongst them. Oh, one just flashed on it. Oh, got him. Got him. Good fish too. Oh, pulled the hooks. That was the best fish of the day. It's always the way, isn't it? Oh no. And the rest all scattered, of course. That was such a lovely fish. Oh, there's some back here, but I think they're a wake up to us. You never know. Let's see. But no go. Time for a lure change, I reckon. Time to put a genuine resin head and a soft plastic on and go for the softer plop and slower sink rate. And what better to choose than a good old-fashioned squidgy wriggler? That'll work. But not before adding a bit of S-factor bite stimulant. Otherwise it'd just be a pie without sauce. I love this stuff. You can see them turning way down there, just past that snag on the flats. So I've gone to the wriggler on a resin head now. Oh yeah, there's a nice little mob of fish down there. I just got to get to them. Hopefully the breeze will help, and it did. Oh, I'm down there. Oh, one bite. Got him. Oh, he's not one. Oh, he was tiny. Might have even been a salmon or something. Damn. Don't know if that's scattered the school. There's a lot of bream coming up past me here, but they're awake up to me. There's a big mob. Out to my left in open water. Got him, right there, right there. Sight cast to that group of them. Oh, and one of them turned around and came back. Pulled the hook again. That's frustrating. Oh, there's a bunch down here. Blowing down on them pretty quick. Oh, 1-8, and I got him. He's a nice fish too. We were blowing down on him, and it was just a matter of whether he'd eat the lure before he got spooked by the boat, and I reckon I had about half a second in it. Nice fish too. Oh yeah. There we go. Lovely clean fish, that one. Oh, Tom, your bug-eyed resin heads are just killers. Look at that. With the wriggler, it's just got such a nice slow drop rate, but that tail is still wriggling even on the drop with the light head. In the live well, and we'll see if we can get a couple more. I'm having so much fun. And that fun's far from over. This river's alive. No, there's salmon. Look at the little salmon. Check out the bream on this snag. They're easy enough to see, even with a smear of bream slime on the lens. Look at that one flash. He's going to eat it in there. This is going to be very interesting. He did. Over the tree. Teabagged him. Oh, he got off. Probably a good thing before he wore through the leader. Oh, that's a scream. Let me see what state my leader is in. It's actually alright. The tree was quite smooth. Probably would have landed him if I could have kept him on. Oh, there's a patch, and I haven't spooked him. Got to allow for the wind. Yeah, I think I've done it now. Yep, that is so nice. And he came straight up and thrashed on the surface. That was lovely. Oh, he's a good fish too. I was able to ambush those pick them up while they were far enough ahead. And he's the fish of the day, I think. Oh, that makes me happy. What an amazing session this has been. Just shows the differences in bream fishing. Pulling them off snags, pulling them off flats, seeing them cruising out in the open, and having to adapt to all those different conditions to catch the fish. Is it any wonder that I find bream such a challenge and so exciting, and I never get tired of them? I've been catching bream all my life and I still enjoy it. Oh, he's a lovely fish. Lovely fish. Ah, yes. Ah, Tom, I love your bug-eye resin heads. They are really, really good. Oh, that's a lovely big fish, that one. Look at that. I'll get a length on him. He'd be pretty close to 40. He won't quite go 40, but he's not bad. Seriously, if you've enjoyed this, give me a thumbs up down below. And if you don't already subscribe to the channel, make sure that you do. I do lots of stuff like this. My whole motivation is to share my fishing with you and hopefully allow you to tap into action like this. Until next time, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines. I caught plenty more that I didn't show you too.